fact that the age seemed to fit the profile of what a student might be. The parent at that point was given from Ms. Garson information on resources at the Women's Center, on the Office of the Dean of Students, and other places, and told that we would like to hear from that student who was assaulted. Susan Garson then contacted Susan Davis, who is an associate vice president in Ms. Lampkin's office and an attorney, to talk about the incident. And I should say Ms. Garson and Ms. Davis are the people who investigate sexual assaults for my office, and also to follow up with Officer Angela Tabler at University Police, who works with sexual assault situations. That follow-up did take place. Ms. Garson talked to all of those people. She then contacted Meg Schomburger, I mentioned as my program coordinator for Fraternity and Sorority Life, to find out what we could find out from sororities and whether we knew. And again, at this point, there was confusion about whether there was one incident or two instances that we now know are in fact two. Officer Tabler did not have information at University Police at that point. Again, we tried to reach out to find out what we could. We were told that the young woman wanted some time to process everything before speaking with us. There was another contact with that parent by Ms. Garson on September 21. And again, at that point, Ms. Garson stressed to this parent that the University Police had no knowledge of what had happened, that we had not received a police report or information, but that obviously we were interested in any information that could be provided so that we might be able to investigate it. And again, names and contact information was provided. On Monday the 27th, Monday of this week, the parent called Ms. Garson again, had a conversation and said that the young woman was feeling better, had a good weekend, and was now perhaps in a position to be willing to talk to Officer Tabler and the University Police. So that information was again relayed to Officer Tabler to tell her that she might be receiving a call. To my knowledge, that call has not yet come in, so we still don't have any direct information on the incident, but felt, given that we were going out with the other incident, we felt comfortable that we had enough information to include that in the email to students. The last incident, the one involving the student being punched based on what we believe is sexual orientation bias by the Bank of America at 1:30 in the morning on the 18th, that student filed a report through our Just Report It online bias system that's in my office. The Dean on call, Assistant Dean Dion Lewis in African American Affairs, reached out to the student immediately. The student came in and met with me a couple of days later, spoke with me about the details of the incident. I alerted several people, the University Police. I spoke personally with Chief Gibson. I also contacted the LGBT Resource Center, which is another unit in my office, and made sure that that student had support. When the decision was made to go with this email to students last night, Lieutenant Fielding and I conferred and both believe that we should put this additional incident, even though it is not factually related to the other two, because we felt it was germane that students know that. So with that, that's a little longer, maybe more than you needed to know, but I want to be as thorough as possible because I know that timeline is important to people. I'll ask Lieutenant Fielding to come back up and we can answer what questions you may have.
Understandably so, here on campus, especially because you yourself still have a lot of questions out there as to what happened to both of these.
I think it's important for students to know that police, both Charlottesville and University, are doing everything that we can to investigate these incidents. We have increased our police presence in those areas of the corner and surrounding area, and are working jointly together to address crime in those areas. But key to this is some help from the members of the community, particularly students who frequent those areas. We are asking them to utilize those safety precautions that we've outlined over and over again in hopes that they go a long way in preventing victimization of crime. You'll have to ask the city police about other parts of the city. I can't answer that question.
They are not investigating the second two instances, one on the 18th and the 19th. They are only investigating along the 17th. They're investigating as one sexual assault, but they discussed that, as it indicated in Mr. Grove's email. Suspect could be the same in the 17th and the 19th. They say it does not necessarily differ.
Right. The 17th incident is being investigated to them. It was reported to them. The incident on the 19th was reported using the online, the third-party reporting system available to members of the university community. That incident has not been reported to any police department by the victim, at which point she decides to, it would likely fall within the city Charlottesville Police Department jurisdiction. So an investigation would begin once an official police report is made. We've been in communication with the city police throughout this process, and I think what we're urging students to do is to be careful, because it's my belief that no suspect information is available in the first assault, the incident on the 17th. We do have a little bit of a description of the suspect on the 19th. Therefore, there is no evidence supporting that the two incidents are linked, but at this point we can't say they're not.
Mr. Rose said that they could possibly, believe the perpetrator was the same single incident. Is that not true anymore, or is it said that you believe that it's different?
Yeah, what I can say in response to that is, what I was told is the nature of the attack was such, and certainly the description in the second case was such, that we wanted students to be aware that it might be the same person. So I can't remember exactly what I said, but I can tell you that my perception was that it is possible that it is the same person, and we simply wanted to alert students to be aware. Let me real quickly say something about the incident on the 18th in regards to your question. To my knowledge, the Charlottesville police took that report. It was not our police, at least based on what the student told me. So that would be a Charlottesville police case, so I can't speak to why they answered the question that way to you.
Well, as far as the University Police Department is concerned, I think we enjoy a good working relationship with them. We are responding together to concerns about crime in that area. We are working jointly to do what we can to address crime in that area. Our first-line supervisors communicate very well with their first-line supervisors, and I think it goes up the chain from there.
And we've been bringing you live coverage of a news conference underway at University Hall on the University of Virginia grounds, a news conference led by two university officials, someone from the police department and the dean of students. At issue here, 3 incidents over the course of mid-September involving 3 students. And it's important to put this in a little bit of context. The University of Virginia community, of course, extremely concerned about violence on campus. There was that day of dialogue at UVA on September 24th related to the issues stemming from the Yardley Love case, the student who was beaten to death, at least police say she was, earlier this year. Also, the Morgan Harrington murder taking place on October 17th, her disappearance on grounds, October 17th of last year. So a couple of incidents to put these incidents in context, a lot of concern about assaults, about the safety of women in and around the University of Virginia. There's also important to point out that there are 2 different sort of tracks of this. The track you're hearing right now is why the university went ahead and alerted students in an email that went out to all of them last night. That was an email simply, they are saying, designed to let people know that these things may have taken place. It's something to be concerned about. It's something to be open to. The police investigation of this has yielded far fewer details, and we're waiting to hear much more from Charlottesville police on how seriously they take these cases, how much they're investigating it, and how much they think those 2 assaults on the 2 women that the university officials mentioned, whether or not they're connected, whether or not they happened, and whether or not they're looking for the same person. So a lot still to figure out on this afternoon. Again, a university news conference on the attack on 3 students at the University of Virginia. Continuing coverage on newsplex.com through the rest of the afternoon. Jessica Jaglois at that news conference. She'll have a full report on the news at 5, 6, and 7 tonight. We'll see you then. Have a good afternoon.